Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! Resolve. In the last episode, we had a little look at the Wax Museum, and we also had a look at this scenery here, this special exhibit, and we came to very strange conclusions. So, now we're about to talk to Mr. Shorms. Are we? Yes, we can't. We already tried to present stuff and whatever, so we are going to just converse with Mr. Shorms, and let's just do that. The resurrecting convict.
I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies.
Oh gosh, an enormous hound? How awful!
After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand? Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted.
A closed court? So you mean that the professor's identity...
As you've surmised, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair.
Oh.
The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life.
Came back to life?
He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene as described by the sole witness to those chilling events.
There was a witness?
But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat.
Enoch Drebber. He saw it happen? The young witness. So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber.
10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old.
It's so horrifying.
Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to the nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight.
Yes, as shown in the photograph you have of him, his hair is completely white.
For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic over every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Tuspel's.
I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place. In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night. Yes, what was he up to? Following the execution. The professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had.
But in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale.
But why did people stop believing it?
Why? Simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact.
What do you mean by no resurrection?
The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution.
No! But that would mean Mr. Drebber... must have lied to the police and the newspapers.
That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking, then, that he should resurface now, don't you think?
Of course, the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible. But Drebber's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie. Ah! What the bleeding Nora? Oh no! What have you gone and done? Gina, what are you doing here? I asked Iris and she said this is where you've been, so... Gina, not so loud in the museum.
Madame Tuspels will have you take a position as a waxwork if you're not careful.
I think there might be a more pressing concern.
I still had some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so...
Alright, Gina, we understand, but please put down the gun.
Sorry, I got scared.
You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. So, what brings you here, Gina?
What brings me here? What do you think? We found it. We found that dodgy Cove's workshop.
What? You found Drebber's workshop?
Yep. Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag, so come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out.
Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once.
All right then. See you there.
You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still.
What?
I know my place in the exhibit over there.
Oh dear, someone is feeling sorry for himself. Let's go, Mr. Sholmes, you're coming!
Your words heart me, I must say. But if I were to shirk my duties here, Madame would have me pay monetary recompense.
Forget that, I'll pay for everything.
Oh, I messed that up, sorry.
Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail a carriage at once.
No offer to share the cost from Mr. Sholmes, then.
I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Mr. Sato. Right, let's go! Ah, 23rd October. Enoch Drebber's workshop. That looks like...
Oh, it's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
Indeed, it would appear so, though only a prototype, naturally.
Oh, so you got it then.
Gina, well done for finding this place. And in such little time. You've really worked miracles.
It's Toby here, who's the miracle worker.
Sorry.
Ah, I thought your lot would show up before long.
Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted bro. He looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips.
So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer?
Sadly not. We didn't find a soul in here.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us a chance to investigate.
According to what Gina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that your lot turned up. I wouldn't want to say, go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I?
Thank you.
Anyway, if you're hoping to snoop around in here, I'd get cracking. Lord Van Zeeks and the forensic investigation team are on their way here as we speak.
Them again?
I imagine you've got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to lawyer types.
Right.
So then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down whilst we have the chance. And you, Sholmes? Pardon? They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do to lawyers. Very droll, Gregson. Very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous waxwork model.
Right then, let's see what we can find in here. Alright, let's just get going. What do we have here? So, the airplane maybe? What on earth is this?
An aeroplane, Mr. Naruto. One day scientists believe it will allow humans to fly freely in the skies.
Is that how the trick will be described? Is it?
Sorry?
Well, it's actually suspended by a thin but very strong cable, isn't it?
Oh, well, this model is, yes, but a real aeroplane would actually fly high in the sky.
While suspended from somewhere even higher in the sky, of course. Because large metal objects obviously can't really stay in midair unsupported.
So to you, the solution is ever taller towers?
That is a way to do things, of course. Alright, so let's look at the trophy.
Ah, this appears to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say?
It's an impressive looking back massager, that's for sure. I've no doubt that if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away.
It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science, as a young scientist could wish for no higher honor.
Ah,
Would you like a massage?
no, I'm fine, thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing.
I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Mr. Enoch Drebber than conjuring tricks.
I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. And how about you, Mr. Naruto? Would you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course.
He's not going to let that go, is he?
It's curious though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times.
The Science Trophy has been entered in the court record. Science Trophy, a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science that was found in Mr. Drebber's workshop. It's a very prestigious award for a young scientist. Well, before we do anything else, we are going to check out that trophy, of course. So let's have a look. The plate must be important. There's a little metal plaque here, look. Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery.
It seems rather ironic, doesn't it?
But clearly Mr. Drebber really was a very talented scientist. Okay, is there anything else of interest here? Maybe on the... No, there doesn't seem to be anything else of interest. Nope. Okay, let's not lose any more time. So the contraption, we're gonna have a look at that in a second. Up here, is there something of importance? Doesn't seem that way. Okay, nothing here. So there's a door here. This door doesn't want to open.
Yeah, looks like it's got a pretty hefty lock on it.
There's a specialist locksmith on his way over from the yard, so hands off till he gets here. With permission, Inspector, I could have the lock open in less than a minute. Well, you don't have permission. And no one's giving it to you.
Gregson looked as though he really enjoyed that.
Well, there's no sound of anybody on the other side.
No, Drebber must have fled at the first sight of danger. Alright, so we can't look at the door for now. We will have a look at the arrows and the... Oh, this is... It's a European-style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside.
Oh, do you suppose?
Crossbow bolts, these. And just the right size for the bow your lots turned up at the exhibition grounds.
In other words...
Yep, that's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam.
The details of the crossbow have been updated in the court record. A crossbow found hidden behind a tree under the experimentation stage of the exhibition, and it belongs to Mr. Enoch Drebber. Alright. So... the toolbox here, maybe?
I'm sorry, Mr. Naruto. That machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it from the Crown and the government.
Well, those two don't seem to be holding back.
It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow.
No loose change dropped on the floor, nothing. Not even a bone for Toby here. My dear fellow. British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they?
I think that's just these two, Mr. Sutter. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Is something wrong, Mr. Sutter?
well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of that door. Well, Gina, did you hear it too?
Yeah, I heard it and all. What do you reckon, Toby? Right mind the grease. Whoever's in there, open up. This is Scotland Yard.
Okay.
Oh my, someone is in there.
Ah, this rotten bleeding lock. My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only it were countenanced, I should unlock that door in less than a minute. Fine, I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door.
Click.
There, you may enter at will.
You've confused minutes with seconds, I think.
Time is of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for? Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency. There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow.
Yes! Oh, okay. Seems like a ticking bomb. What's happened here? Why is everything upside down?
Rats, there ain't no one in there after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises.
Maybe that was the sound of Drebber running away.
But there's only one door into this room.
And no windows that could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high.
But there are footsteps here. What's that up there? Are they footprints on the ceiling?
Blow me, what have we here then? Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry.
Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints.
To what?
To that Professor Hairbrain's brain Barbie machine, is it? Blimey, if we'd had these, there'd have been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal. There's something of great interest here too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of the pillar.
A rope? What's significant about that?
Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo.
We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrive too.
Alright, so let's get going then. Let's have a look at the balloon first. That's a really lovely model. It looks just like a real flying balloon.
I think it's probably staying aloft on the same principle as a full-size balloon, using gas.
A green flying balloon. It does have the hallmarks of that amazing deception at the Great Exhibition, doesn't it? Could it be that the whole thing was planned here in this very workshop? Uh-huh. Alright. So what about this place here?
Almost every piece of furniture is upside down.
Even Mr. Sholmes' suit isn't ever in this much of a mess.
You're in no position to comment on this, Mr. Naruhodo.
But I suppose it's not quite the same thing, is it? I mean, it's not messy in here per se, it's that everything is literally upside down.
But why?
That is a very good question. So it seems like he turned things upside down for some reason. So there's this safe, there's this. Could talk to Mr. Sholmes, but nothing else of interest, it seems. Okay, so let's have a look at the footprints first. There's no denying it, is there? They're footprints.
Yes, it would appear so. And I simply can't imagine how they came to be there.
Isn't there a Susato shoot-up or something? Like a Susato takedown, I mean?
I'm no Wonder Woman, Mr. Naruto.
That would make her almost superhuman, I suppose. Okay. Nothing about the shells. Alright, so let's have a look at the obvious. What about the safe? It's a very large safe. I don't suppose even Mr. Sholmes could open that lock. Although, if you were a thief, you could just steal the entire thing, I suppose.
It's bolted to the floor to prevent exactly that sort of underhand trick, Mr. Naruto.
Well then, you could just steal the floor as well, I suppose.
I'm sorry, but you really aren't making any sense at all. Anyway, I think we can agree that whatever is inside must be very important.
We agree on that, for sure. Okay. I just want to have a look at the court record. Have we something entered, though? Because I thought maybe the robes would have entered. Okay, let's have a look at the ticking time bomb here. Mr. Sholmes, have you found something?
Ah, Mr. Naruto. Yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this?
Let's see. I've never seen anything like it before. It looks like a bundle of thick cigars wrapped up in a large watch. Ah! Mr. Sato, what's the matter?
Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it?
What? Did you say? A time bomb?
Sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly?
You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruto.
I won't take that as a compliment.
Oh, you don't know nothing, do you, Odo?
You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina?
I invite you to consult the dictionary later, Mr. Naruto. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance.
Oh, well, thank goodness. But then, what is it?
I see, so that's it.
Goodness, Mr. Sholmes. Have you seen the heart of the matter?
There are times when I consider my lot most unfair. For I'm fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to accept the hardship that come with being a great detective, Mr. Sato.
Here we go. I feel a great deduction coming.
Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself.
Oh, but how could you?
And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is without question completely genuine.
Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything.
It would be a pleasure.
So, but before we do that, guys, that is going to take some time, and we haven't reached the half-hour mark yet, but we are so close that it wouldn't make sense to keep going here. So, therefore, I am going to cut this episode a little bit loose, and have you wait for the Great Deduction a little bit. I'm really sorry, but if you want to see the Great Deduction, you'll have to tune in next time for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Resolve. See you then.